Okay, first up here we have the cleanser from Tula, which I have been loving, and I've also been using the toner also from Tula. Those are staples in my skincare routine right now. And then next I have the Serum Day Serum from Drunk Elephant. Drunk Elephant is a bit of a splurge, but it's always worth it. This vitamin C serum is going to last me for so long. These Dr. Goss daily peels are amazing. I used them last night, otherwise I would use them this morning, but wanted to show you. Another Tula product is this under eye balm. I love the cooling sensation it gives. I'm an avid believer that the price tag does not equal the quality of the product. I love so many things from E.L.F, including this moisturizer. I'm also trying out a few different moisturizers. So here's the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream. Really enjoy it. I'm testing out a few right now, and obviously this one's been used. This is the Clinique Moisture Surge, another great one to try. I do usually have eyelash extensions, but because we're in quarantine and I can't do that, I'm using this Lash serum from Neutrogena. It's only about $12. It's a good dupe for the Lash Boost from Rodan & Fields. Any kind of face sunscreen will honestly work. I went to the dermatologist and she said the 3 most important things are a vitamin C serum, sunscreen, and a retinol. I love this lip mask from Laneige. I think you're supposed to wear it to bed at night, but I honestly put it on all day long. I got mine from Amazon for half the price of Sephora. Next, we're going to use a setting powder from Mercier in the shade Translucent to set in all of the creams and serums we've put on so it's not sliding around when we put on our makeup. Funny enough, I actually learned this trick from TikTok. If you use a moisturizer, a setting powder, a setting spray, and then your primer, your skin will look incredible. While I let my setting powder sit, I want to talk about Summer Fridays. I love this. I usually put it on at night, but thought I should mention it now too. I've tried so many different primers, and this one from E.L.F is probably my favorite. I'm a firm believer that just because it costs more money doesn't mean it's a better product. Skincare is done. Now let's move on to the makeup. Go ahead and wet down your beauty blender and put your product on there. I am using Double Wear. This is my holy grail, and it's probably my favorite foundation I've ever used. The shade I'm wearing is 2-in-1 Desert Beige, and I also found this lid from Amazon. It's so good if you love a pump. I like to dab my foundation into my skin, and it also cracks me up that no matter how much time I have when I'm getting ready, when I'm applying foundation, I'm in a hurry. Don't forget to bring your foundation down onto your neck a little bit because nobody wants a line there. Another find I have is this Beauty Blender case. I got it from Sephora, and it keeps the Beauty Blender from getting moldy and foundation all over your stuff. A good alternate for when you're not feeling foundation is this Tinted Moisturizer from Neutrogena. Honestly, I have been wearing this so much lately. I'm sure no one's surprised by this, but I love Shape Tape from Tarte. Here I'm laughing at myself trying to get it focused, but it's honestly the best concealer I've ever used. The shade I'm wearing is light neutral. It goes really well under your eyes, but what's unique is it can also double for pimples too. We're going to set that baby into place. Here I'm using Smashbox. I've used other ones before. I'm probably more a fan of the continuous spray. We're going to move on to the brows while that sets in place. This is the Gimme Brow from Benifit, and I've used it so much that all the packaging's come off the front, but this is in shade 4, Warm Deep Brown. Since I've had my eyebrows microbladed, there's not a ton I actually do to them, but I do like to go over them just to set the hairs in place and give it a little bit more definition. I love this Studio Finish concealer from M.A.C. I'm wearing the shade NC10. I like it because it goes really well underneath eyebrows or underneath your eyes. I also use this thin brush. Honestly, any brush would really work as long as it's thin. It's really good to go in and define the brows. Here you can see I'm doing a little bit of a windshield wiper motion. Honestly, I feel like the best way is just to do one line. Just to like follow the line and then smudge it in with your fingers. I feel like that's what gives it the best contrast. Here I'm using what's left on my beauty blender as a primer for my eyeshadow. I love this bronzer from Too Faced in the shade Dark Chocolate. It's probably one of the biggest staples in my makeup routine. Next, we're going to go ahead and contour. Use a thin brush like this, something that's flat on the side, and then you can see I'm making a little bit of a kissy face, and then line where the natural dark places of your face would be. So underneath your cheekbones, up on top of your face. Sometimes I'll do the jawbone. That's where you really want to put the dark in, and then the key here is to go in and blend it in. You look funny when you don't blend. Any brush will work. Here I'm using it from Kat Von D. One end is the blend and one end is the shade. I use one end for blending and one end for my highlight. The key really is just to make sure you don't have any harsh lines. Make sure you look in several different angles and in different lights to make sure you don't walk out looking like a crazy person. I actually went in again and did a second layer because I thought it needed just a hint more on my cheekbones. I think the key here is to underdo as opposed to overdo because it's always easier to put more on. Also bring it down onto your neck so your neck and your face match. Now we're going to go ahead and set it all in with the translucent powder from Laura Mercier. I think some people actually will go in and do this right after they do their concealer, but I personally prefer to do it after I've done my bronzer so I can kind of see what needs to be lighter and what needs to be fixed up just a little bit. I love putting a little bit of the powder down on my jawbone too. I love contouring my nose. This is one of my favorite parts of my makeup routine. I use the same flat brush, and the key here is to make sure you stay on top of your nose and not on the sides. Using the sides of your nose will actually make it look wider. So you can go right down the edges and then maybe around the corners of your nose at the front, and it'll actually make your nose appear smaller, contoured. Coming over again with whatever's left on my beauty blender just to buff it all in, make sure there's no harsh lines. Back at it again with my favorite bronzers, and here is one of my favorite tricks, is to use your bronzer as eyeshadow. I actually heard somebody describe it as bringing your face all in to match. Honestly, I like it because you're kind of contouring your eyelids, and I personally feel like bronzer is one of my favorite shades. Like that deep brown is one of my favorite shades for my eyes. And it's really great when you're traveling too, because then you only have to worry about bringing just your bronzer. Make sure you're also using a really fluffy brush for all of this. I love the copper shades, and in this Urban Decay Naked Petite palette, there's a beautiful copper, and I just put it right in the corners just to bring just a little bit more depth to the eyeshadow. I'm going to use this really thin eyebrow brush, dip it in the copper again, and put it underneath my eyes as an eyeshadow form of eyeliner. Lastly, I'm going to take a light nude, or even sometimes you can use your concealer, put it in the bed of the eye. I personally like this because I think it helps my mascara pop just a little bit more. If you haven't caught on to my theme, it's blend, blend, blend. Blend your eyeshadows, blend your contour. Just make sure there are no harsh lines anywhere. I'm dusting off whatever I have left of that translucent powder underneath my eyes, catching the fall off of eyeshadow. This mascara I cannot say enough about. It is the Telescopic from L'Oreal. It makes my eyelashes so long. I like to go in with it first because it really helps to define the lash and give it length. Don't call it a comeback. This mascara has been here for years. I think this was the first mascara I ever used, and I still love it. The curved one is my favorite. I like it to kind of go in and give a little bit of fullness to my lashes after the Telescopic. Okay, we're almost to the finished look, but it's not complete without highlighter. This is the Becca highlighter in Champagne Pop. Okay, I love Becca, but for some reason, my highlighters always break. I don't know if anybody is there with me, but I'm just going to go in with the shade end of my Kat Von D brush. I'm going over the cheekbones, the tip of my nose, my Cupid's bow, and then my chin and above my eyebrows. Essentially, you just want to go wherever the light's going to hit your face. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the lips. I love lip liner. This is Charlotte Tilbury in the color Pillow Talk. Honestly, I'm such a lip liner girl. I love like a dark pink and sometimes even a mauve color. I think it just looks very natural and it gives you a little bit of color with your lips without being dramatic about it. And one of the tips I like to do is put on a lip liner and then maybe just a little bit chapstick or gloss over it. I think it gives it a natural finish and lets your lips shine. However, here I'm going to use the Pillow Talk and Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. Final round of setting spray. Do not forget to set your face before you leave for the day. And that's it. That's our final look. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know if you want to see something like this again. Bye, y'all.